Hello everybody, Waffletime here. What is the Martian Madness Event in Terraria? Well, the name kind of speaks for itself. It's a post-golem hard mode event which results in a plethora of aliens invading your very own Terraria world. There's a variety of aliens to defeat and even a mini-boss, but there's also some amazing loot you could get from this said mini-boss, including amazing mounts and highly powerful weapons. How do we incite this event, you may ask? Well, the short answer is to pretty much do nothing. All you really need to do is make a mad dash to the end of your world, go up to space, and simply sit there and wait. After slaying some harpies, and hopefully with some luck, you'll come across one of these guys, a Martian Probe. The trick here is to not kill them, but rather get underneath their beam and let them inspect you. They'll then turn red and fly off screen, and the event will begin. There are 11 different mobs and one mini-boss. The real good loot comes from the mini-boss, but the other mobs drop some pretty interesting things too. A lot of them function much the same, walking towards you and shooting at the player, and some are more for range fighting. These guys' drops really aren't too crazy. All they drop is Martian costume pieces and Martian conduit plating. There is one, however, that drops a mount. The mount isn't anything too interesting, it's a Skutlix. The mobs that prefer melee include that of the Gigazapper, the Martian Officer, the Grey Grunts, and lastly, the Martian Engineers, although Martian Engineers lay down Tesla turrets, which remain stationary but are ranged devices. The range mobs include the Tesla turrets, ray gunners, and brain scramblers. And there is a mob that fits into both categories named a Skutlix, which we talked about before. It's a ranged mob called a Skutlix Gunner that's riding on top of a Skutlix, which is a mob that attempts to charge at you. The Skutlix Gunner has a very small chance to drop the Brain Scrambler item, which gives you the Skutlix mount. Lastly, there's one kind of in its own category, and that's the Martian Drone. These things will fly up near the player and then dive bomb directly into them and explode, and can cause pretty large sums of damage if not paid attention to. Now, onto the big bad boss we've been waiting for, the mini-boss, which actually drops a very good loot. These things are giant and are simply called Martian Saucers, and boy does that laser cause tons of damage. My recommendation for grinding these out to get all their sweet loot is to build an enclosed box. It doesn't really have to be anything fancy, and just shoot it from right inside the box. One great way to do this is with the Daedalus Stormbow, which you can see me using here along with some really good ranger gear. They occur much more often after the event is 50% complete, so I personally like to kill off some of the smaller mobs until then. Then you can focus much more solely on the Martian Saucers in order to get a large amount of fantastic loot. As you can see, having an enclosed box doesn't allow its attacks to reach you, and you can kill it without a sweat. It does have one attack where it shoots missiles out of its sides, which can hit you on contact with the wall if the walls are too close to you. So don't make your shelter too small, otherwise the area of effect on those explosions are going to get you. I grinded out a great amount of these guys and got most of the loot that they drop. Now that that's all said and done, let's go talk about some of the loot we could get from these guys. They drop a great amount of weapons, a drill, a mount, a hook, and lastly a trophy. Let's start with the Xenopopper, which fires bullets or musket balls, coming in at 45 range damage. It fires 4 to 5 projectiles per shot at the cost of only 1 bullet, which is already great in itself. As you can see, it fires a shotgun-like blast out of the bubbles it fires, but I noticed something pretty interesting, and that's that the bullets fire wherever your cursor is after the bubbles explode. So you can put your cursor behind where you initially shot, and the bullets will fire there instead. This makes it convenient for firing around corners or off cliffs or anything like that. Next up, we have the laser machine gun, which, despite being a machine gun, is actually a magic weapon and costs mana, but doesn't require any ammo. It causes 60 magic damage and fires at a very high rate of speed after winding up a bit. If accompanied by magic armor and a lot of mana potions, this can be quite a devastating weapon considering its high damage output and rate of fire. The only thing you really gotta watch out for with this is the mana consumption, because it goes by pretty quick because this thing fires real fast. If you have an accessory such as a mana flower, you should be golden. After that, we have the Xenostaff, which summons a small saucer to fight for you. How cute. It comes in at 36 summoning damage, and it's a pretty good summon, being that it doesn't miss mobs when it attacks, since its attacks are said to hit instantly. As you can see, it's pretty fast and pretty crafty, but its downside is that it can't attack enemies unless there's enough room above the enemy, making it inconvenient for tight spaces underground, but really good for above ground battles. Up next, I'll be showing off my favorite mount in the world, which is the Cosmic Car Keys. If you guys have watched my Lunatic Cultist video, you'll recognize these instantly. They are extremely convenient for honestly just about everything, since you can fly indefinitely. It's great for fighting all the bosses, even the Moonlord, and it's also fantastic for just traversing your land quickly. This is definitely a must-have for all your worlds. After that, we have the Laser Drill, which is actually a powerful mining tool. It has a whopping 230% pickaxe power, which is the greatest in the game, and also has a very unique feature about it, being as you can mine from very far away with it. It also doubles as an axe, and is extremely fast in both mining and chopping. You can mine through many other blocks without having to break the blocks in front of you, making it ideal for exploration and even building purposes. Right after that, we have the Electro Sphere Launcher, which fires rockets and comes in at 40 range damage, but is lingering damage, and the spheres can stay and keep causing continuous damage. The interesting thing about it is that an infinite number of Electro Spheres can be launched, but they can't overlap each other. It's definitely a weapon that can absolutely shred bosses such as the Destroyer. It's also really convenient for events such as the Blood Moon or Pirate and Goblin invasions, where mobs will just keep on running into the vicinity of it and be damaged. Next up, we have the Charged Blaster Cannon, which is a magic weapon with a base of 50 magic damage, and this weapon penetrates everything and can be looked at just like the last Prism's little brother. There is a catch to it, however, and that is that once it's firing, it can't be steered or changed direction. If the player wants to shoot the other way, they have to stop the beam entirely, turn the other direction, charge it up again, and fire that way, rather than simply facing the other direction. Now we're on to the powerful melee weapon, the Influx Waver, coming in at 110 melee damage. This is a very strong weapon and can also shoot projectiles, making it quite the badass melee weapon to have on deck. The projectiles, when hitting a target, also have a special feature in which a couple more projectiles re-hit the target and can even go hit other targets, which is very nice. It rivals that of the Terra Blade, beating it in overall DPS, but falters when it comes to knockback and speed. After that, we have the very interesting anti-gravity hook. This is very unique to any other hook as it propels the player away from what they grappled to, allowing them to go full circle around wherever they grappled. It's pretty weird, honestly, but it can be actually really useful in certain instances, such as building or even some boss battles. Last but not least, the final insane drop from this guy is this trophy. You can put it on a wall or something. Nice. Having all that said, I believe that just about covers the Martian Madness event in Terraria. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. And if you have any questions, comments, or tips, leave them in the comment section down below. Also, if you have any suggestions for my next video, be sure to let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.